Yeah, morning everyone. So myself, I'm Vijay. I hold 13 plus years of experience, which includes 6 plus years of experience in Hadoop and Spark environment. Currently working with PySpark environment. Fine. So before I go, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether my screen is visible or not? So can anyone please confirm by typing in the chat panel? Fine. Yeah, thank you. Fine. So just I'm going to cover the following things as part of today's demo. Fine. What is big data? Data generation and landscape, data sources and types, big data characteristics, big data tools, big data challenges, big data applications, why Hadoop is required. Already we have got many technologies in the market. Why again Hadoop? Drawbacks of databases as compared to Hadoop. Hadoop advantages, Hadoop architecture, Hadoop ecosystem tools, and Hadoop trends in job market. Fine. Okay. What is big data? First, what do you mean by big data? The name itself saying huge volumes of data. Huge volumes of data. Okay. How data is getting generated? How data is getting generated today? Yeah, if someone has attended my demo previously, okay, just we can start from tomorrow. Fine. Now observe. Now observe this. Big data, the name itself saying huge volumes of data. Today, like how data is getting stored. How data is getting stored. Big data, if I'm saying how data is getting stored. KBs of data, MBs of data, GBs, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, zettabytes, etabytes, sotabytes, so on. KBs of data, MBs of data, GBs, TBs, petabytes, exabytes, zettabytes, etabytes, sotabytes, so on. So from TB onwards, we say it as big data, huge data generation. So if you observe, you should have seen, see, if you see from 15 years back, or if we go back to 20 years, should have seen KBs or MBs of data generation. But from the last 10 to 15 years, you are seeing GBs or TBs. Now currently, if you're going, data is generating in petabytes or exabytes of data. So petabytes of data generation. Now petabytes of data, is it getting generated in the current real world? Examples of petabytes of data generation. I want the sessions to be interactive. Petabytes of data. So you can just unmute yourself and you can just answer. Otherwise, you can just type in the chat panel. I want the sessions. All the sessions will be in interactive sessions. No. Fine. Let me confirm whether are you. Can anyone please speak out so that anyone. Are you in mute? Let me check. Yes.
Yes, we can. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
fine. Okay. Just I was testing whether you people are in mute or in. Okay, just I have unmuted you. See, you can just give your response through voice. So here I was just asking like MBs of data, GBs, TBs, petabytes. 1 petabyte equal to, observe, 1 petabyte equal to 1024 TBs. That is what data gen. 1 petabyte equal to 1024 TBs. Example of petabytes of data generation. If you take today, if you see the banking sector, there is it's growing a lot. For example, today if you see in every street you see a bank of a particular bank like SBI or HDFC. Within the city you see hundreds of branches for that bank. Within the entire state, thousands of branches. Within the entire country, lakhs of branches. Within the entire country, you are going to see lakhs of branches for that. Within each bank, again, you are going to see lakhs of customers, millions of customers. each customer making multiple transactions per hour, per day, per week, per month. So each and every transaction need to be stored. Each and every transaction need to be stored. Huge data is getting generated. Okay, coming to this social media like Facebook. Social media like Facebook. So here, if you observe, millions and trillions of users for Facebook. Millions and trillions of users for Facebook. One sec. So millions and trillions of users for Facebook. Not only it has got users not only within the country, entire world. It has got users throughout the world. It has got users throughout the world.
Hello?
Yeah, are you able to hear my voice? Can anyone please confirm?
Yeah, now we can able to hear, sir.
Fine. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. So here, if I'm taking the example of Facebook, millions of users for Facebook. Okay. So what is the data generated by Facebook in a minute? What is the data generated by Facebook in a minute?
Hello?
So what is the data generated by Facebook in a minute? What is the data generated by Facebook in a minute? It's not like if MBs or GBs of data is generated in terabytes. So data generated in petabytes or exabytes. Not only like Facebook, today if we observe, every application is generating data in petabytes. If I take 1 minute transaction, if I take 1 minute of transaction, in a minute, how many FB posts? In a minute, how many FB posts and what is the data generated by Facebook in a minute? In a minute, how many Twitter tweets? In a minute, how many Twitter tweets and what is the data generated by Twitter in a minute? And if you take in a minute, how many Google queries? What is the data generated by Google in a minute? YouTube videos upload. YouTube videos upload. What is the data generated by YouTube in a minute? So YouTube videos upload. Okay. How many FB posts, Twitter tweets, Google queries, YouTube videos upload, and how many email messages? Millions and trillions of users, they use email or Gmail messages. So what is the data generated by email messages in a minute? And bank transactions. Bank transactions. Telecom transactions. So here, if you say FB post, email messages, Twitter tweets, bank transactions, Google queries, telecom transactions, YouTube videos, and if you take e-commerce websites like Flipkart or Amazon, okay. So today, if you see, every application is generating huge data. If you take YouTube, or if you take Google, or if you take Twitter, email, bank transactions, telecom transactions, e-commerce websites, and an average, Facebook generating nearly 400 plus petabytes per data per month in an average. If you take Facebook, LinkedIn, Yahoo, Amazon, all these top 100 e-commerce websites, they are generating huge data. Like even like Facebook, it is generating nearly 3 trillion transactions per every 10 seconds. Means per minute, how many transactions? 3 trillion transactions per 10 seconds. Means per minute, nearly 18 trillion transactions per seconds. Okay, fine. So if you see that the data generation from the last 50 years, if you observe this data generation from the last 50 years, observe this data. This is the data in the entire real world which got generated from the last 50 years, which got generated from 1970 to 2020. If you compare the data, last 40 years of data, up to like 2010, and last 10 years of data. See this 40 years, compare this data generation of the previous 40 and the last 10 years. Nearly, see this 80% of the data it has got generated from the last 10 to 15 years. But 20% of the data got generated from the previous 40 years. See that huge data generation from the last 10 years especially. Okay. So can you say me the reasons for huge data generation, especially from the last 10 years? Why there was a huge data generation, especially from the last 10 years? First thing, usage of computers. First, usage of computers has increased a lot. Previously, if you take 1990s, 1980s, like usage of computers was very less. Usage of technology, usage of computers, and usage of smartphones, usage of internet, smartphones, internet, computers, tech, all this. So if you see everything through online today, online banking, online shopping, online exams, everything, online education, online communication, audio, video chattings, okay, online business. So because of this huge data is getting generated from the last 10 years. And see this, what are the main sources of data? What are the main sources of data? Mainly three sources of data. Mainly three sources from where this data is getting generated. First one, like social data. Second is machine data. Third is like transactional data. From where this data is getting generated? Mainly three sources: social data, machine data, and transactional data. Social data means the data which got generated from social websites like Facebook, Twitter, all this. Machine data, the name itself saying the data which got generated from machines, means for example, if you go to any shopping malls, for the items you purchase, a huge bill is going to get generated. Means the data which got generated by reading or scanning the barcodes, scanners, RFID chips, all such kind of data we call it as machine data. And transactional data, okay, social data, machine data, transactional data. These are the main sources of data, three sources of data. Fine. And the data which is got generated, the data which has got generated is going to occupy mainly like three types. It's going to be of three types of data. Okay, like structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. What is that? Mainly it is going to occupy three types of data: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Structured data, nothing but a data which is arranged, which is organized in a structured format within rows and columns. Generally, like examples like Excel sheets, data which is organized in the form of structured format like Excel sheets, database, DB tables. Semi-structured data which is not fully structured, which is not fully unstructured. Example, XML files, JSON files, JavaScript object notation files. Unstructured data which is not in a particular form, like articles, chat messages, images, videos, all this comes as unstructured. But today if you see what is the data which got generated, especially is going to be occupied as unstructured data. Most of the data that you see is in unstructured format, means we need to have the tools which can store and process this unstructured data. So Hadoop is such a kind of a framework, we can say, which can not only handle structured or semi-structured but also unstructured data. Today, like if you have got a databases which cannot handle the semi-structured or unstructured data. So we have got a data. If you observe this, today we have got a databases also. One second, observe this. We have got databases. I'm sorry, databases like we have got Oracle, MySQL, DB2, SQL Server, all this. They are used for OLTP, online transactional processing for day-to-day activities. And we have got some specialized databases. We have got some specialized databases like Netezza, Vertica, Teradata, Netezza, Vertica. These are used for OLAP. They are used for data warehouse kind of purpose, data warehouse. So these they are used for OLAP analytical processing. So if you see these databases, they can handle GBs of data, and this specialized databases, Netezza, Vertica, they can handle TVs of data. But to handle petabytes of data, exabytes of data, we doesn't have proper storage systems. So as a solution to all these storage level issues, and if you see day by day as data is increasing enormously, we need to have proper storage systems and processing, not only storing, processing this data within quick time. So we have got a tool, we have got a framework, we have got a framework called Hadoop. We have got a frame. Okay, before we go, we have got a framework. Okay, let me come back to this Hadoop, but before that, observe these things. If you see this, okay, 1 byte, kilobyte, MBs, GBs, terabytes, petabytes, exabytes, zettabytes, in this way. Data generation, you see every 60 seconds, if you observe, how many tweets you are going to see, how many status updates you are going to see, and how many instant messages and Google searches, emails, and how much terabytes of data, and how many new mobile web users. What are the new mobile web users? Okay, so data sources and types. What are the sources of data generations? From where you are going to get this data? Social media, sensors data, say mobile phones, GPS, purchases, World Wide Web, email, media streaming, healthcare, IoT. So big data, nothing but where this data is getting generated from Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, all this. Types of data I was just discussing, like structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. So unstructured data types. So once again, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear or not?
Your voice is a little bit breaking, Vijay sir.
So for everyone, can you please everyone please confirm? Is it the case for everyone? Fine. So unstructured data types. If you can see these unstructured data types, okay. We have got like text files and documents, server, website and applications, sensor data, images, video files, audio files, email, social media data. Fine. So this data like logs, financial data, healthcare data, and this credit cards, all this, and from the data sources, from data warehouses, databases, CRM, customer relation man, audio, video, Excel, CSV, social media logs, from where you are going to extract the data into a single place, and later you are going to process the data, and later processing the data, generating reports, dashboards, and queries from that. Data types are structured, unstructured, geographic data, real-time data, natural language data, time series data, event data, network data. Linked data means graphs. Structured data means like table or structures, Excel sheets, database table, unstructured. And if you see this real-time data means data, for example, data which keeps on generating, data which keeps on incrementing. Streaming data, we say streaming data which keeps on generating. For example, a downloaded file, if you take, if you see morning, it will be like if it is of 2 GB, afternoon the same size, evening the same size, after 2 days the same size. But if you see this streaming data, or this data, morning like 2 GB, afternoon 4 GB, evening like 8 GB, after 2 days it will be like 15 GB, which keeps on generating, incrementing data, which such data we call it as real-time data or streaming data. Characteristics of this, mainly like 6 V's of, mainly we say 3 V's, 6 V's of big data, like volume, variety, velocity, veracity, value. The amount of data from different sources, types of data. Variety means the types of data: structured, semi-structured, unstructured. The velocity, nothing but the speed at which the data is getting generated. And even we have got veracity, value, and what are this variability. The degree to which big data can be trusted, security, the business value of the data collected, the ways in which big data can be used and formatted. So if you observe this 6 V's, let me show you this. Volume, data at rest, static data. Velocity means data in motion, streaming data. Variety, data in many forms, structured, unstructured, semi-structured. Veracity, data in doubt or data in limbo, the data which is uncertain. And for this big data, we have got a big data tools available, like we have got tools like Hadoop, NoSQL databases, real-time data processing Spark, and for data analysis Tableau and Hive. It's a kind of Hadoop component which is used is a data warehouse kind of environment, and Kafka is a messaging system. These are big data tools. Fine. So I was just saying, as data is increasing enormously, we need to have proper storage systems. We need to have proper storage systems and processing systems. Okay, storage and processing systems. Okay, for this, we have got a framework called Hadoop. Hadoop is what? A framework. Hadoop is meant for two things. Hadoop is providing two services: storage and processing. Hadoop is meant for what? Storage and processing. Okay. Generally, if you take any technology, it is meant either for storage or for processing. If you take languages, if you see this C, C++, Java, all this, they are meant for processing. If you take like Oracle, MySQL, DB2, all this they are used for storage. Either they are meant for storage or they're meant for processing. But Hadoop is meant for both storage and processing. And here I got some couple of queries. Please try to respond. I said Hadoop is meant for both storage and processing. So when Hadoop is able to do both storage and processing, what is the necessity of these technologies? And I'm saying like Hadoop can store huge data, unlimited data, and process that huge data in quick time. If it is able to store and process the data, what is the necessity of the current storage and processing technologies? Do you think they go away from the market when Hadoop is in the market? When Hadoop has, then do you think that all the storage and processing technologies will be away from the market, as Hadoop is going to do perform the storage and processing that too in quick time and huge data storage, where databases can store up to some extent limited data, but not like unlimited or huge data? Yeah, so Hadoop has got its own limitation. Yeah, can you please say what is the limitation for Hadoop? Anyone? Yeah, yeah, Sahil Garg. Hadoop has its own limitation.
It can't process real-time data.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. So here one thing what you need to understand is, first you need to understand Hadoop is meant for what. So here this, even though Hadoop came into the market, still this storage and processing technologies, because Hadoop is meant for huge data. Hadoop is not for small data. Hadoop is good for huge data. Hadoop is bad for small data. Hadoop is not for what, if you are making one transaction, if you are making one transaction, a single transaction, we no need to go for Hadoop. We can go for this database for OLTP processing. For a single transactions, for day-to-day activities, we go for databases. Hadoop is not for OLTP. Hadoop is not for online transactional processing. Hadoop is for batch processing. And Hadoop is good for huge data. For small data, you can go with this. Okay. And if you want for huge data, for example, if you take example of Java, for Java in real time you use Eclipse IDE. For Eclipse, what is that input you are providing? If you are providing petabytes or exabytes or petabytes of data, it takes a very huge time for processing. Okay. So here you need to understand two things. Hadoop is meant for batch. Hadoop is meant for batch processing. But you may ask, Hadoop can't it perform? Hadoop can't it perform online processing? Hadoop, if you see Hadoop plus NoSQL, Hadoop plus NoSQL, Hadoop for batch processing and NoSQL for online processing. Combinedly together, both can perform both online and batch processing. So as a Hadoop developer, you need to have the idea about Hadoop and also a one NoSQL database, at least one NoSQL database. So we are going to cover one NoSQL database as part of our course. I'll just brief you about the components what I am going to discuss as part of the course. So you are going to have at least one NoSQL database. So if you see now, if you see that NoSQL, the next generation OLTP, we can say NoSQL, the next generation OLTP. For example, if you take SQL, see what do you mean by NoSQL? Schema-less behavior, random access. So if you think the top 100 e-commerce websites now, they're currently going with NoSQL rather than SQL. SQL means schema. Every time if you want to update, or if you want every time you need to keep on altering your table. If you want to add a new column, you need to alter. Again, if you want to add one more column, we need to alter the table schema. Every time we need to keep altering the table schema. But in the case of NoSQL database, a record to record, different number of fields can be maintained. In the case of SQL, from first record to the last record, same number of fields need to be maintained. But in the case of NoSQL, record to record, different number of fields can be maintained. For example, Facebook, it is generating more than, observe here, Facebook, it is generating more than, if we just compare SQL and NoSQL, like it is generating more than 110 TB per day. It is generating more than 110 TB per day. Facebook. But if you take Oracle, the total capacity or lifetime capacity of Oracle, the total capacity or lifetime capacity of Oracle is 50 TB. Means what is this indicator? One day data cannot be stored by this Oracle. It can store maximum of 50 TB of data, and that too in databases like Oracle. Schema is compulsory. Means same number of columns need to be maintained for first record to the last n number of records. But here, record to record, different number of fields. And here, what that is, and one more thing, Hadoop is meant for batch. Hadoop is meant for batch, I'm saying. So here, two things you need to understand here. There are two types of applications. Two types of applications. First one, batch applications and online applications. First, online applications means what? What do you mean by online applications? User interactive applications. What are these? User interactive. User interactive. We call it as online. User non-interactive. User non-interactive applications. Which has got more load? Can you please answer? Which has got more load, batch or online? User interactive or user non-interactive? Which has got more load? So two types of applications I was saying, like batch applications and online applications. Which has got more load? Let me discuss. I will give you the answer once I discuss these things. What do you mean by user interactive? Examples of user interactive means user gives the input here for online applications. For booking a movie ticket, user interactive. A railway ticket, booking a railway ticket, user interactive. User gives the input. Is credit card details or this. User non-interactive. User non-interactive. For example, if you are railway booking, PNR status, if you say today your waiting status is at 170, after 3 hours it is 150, evening it is 110, tomorrow morning it was 70, tomorrow evening your ticket got confirmed. Means here user interactive or user non-interactive? Is user interaction required for this? No. User non-interactive applications. Batch applications, the other examples of batch applications means Hadoop is meant for batch processing or batch applications. Example of this batch applications, like in the finance sector, mostly all are batch applications. Banking, insurance, trading, all comes example of a batch. All are the examples of batch. Fine. For example, some more examples of batch. Anyone? Any other examples of batch? For example, for example, bank statements generation. Bank statements generation. Is it online or batch? Bank statements. See here. First, let me examples of online. Depositing money. You are depositing money means user interactive. Withdrawing ticket. Withdrawing amount. Money depositing, withdrawing, or taking bucket. If you are booking a ticket or canceling a ticket or updating. Fine. All these are examples of online applications. Money depositing, withdrawing, or booking a ticket, or canceling a ticket, or updating. All these are online applications. Example of batch applications means bank statement generation of all the customers. Here, user non-interactive. User non-interactive. User non-interactive means bank statements generation. Here, no user interaction are nowhere required. Credit card bill generations for all the customers. Phone bill generations for all the customers. Batch for millions of customers you are generating bank statements, credit card bill generations, phone bill generations. Credit card transaction is a online transaction. It's a single transaction. Now I was asking which has got more load. Now can you please answer which has got more load? Online or batch? Now which has got more load? Means you are generating bank statements for all the customers. You are generating credit card bill generations for all the customers. Which has got more load? Batch. Batch applications.
Yeah,
Online
backup.
application. Online application means single transaction. Batch applications means millions of lakhs and millions. Means credit card bill generations, phone bill generations, bank statement generations. Online means you are making a single transaction. Okay, fine. So Hadoop is meant for, so databases are generally they are used for online, and for batch you can go for this Hadoop. So both Hadoop and NoSQL databases can all perform both online and batch processing. That's why we need to have that knowledge of at least one NoSQL database. So coming back here, just why Hadoop? For storage and processing. Here I got some couple of queries. Fine. Hadoop is meant for storing the data. So for storing the data, does Hadoop use any database internally? For storing the data, does Hadoop use any database internally for storing it? I was just saying like databases has got some drawbacks. Databases has got some drawbacks. So despite of the drawbacks, Hadoop doesn't use any databases for storing its data. So instead, it is going with a file system called as Hadoop distributed file system. It is going with a file system called as Hadoop distributed file system. And for processing, we are going with an execution. It is not using any technology, current technologies. It is going with an execution model called as MapReduce. MapReduce, now we can see like it was using MapReduce, but it was replaced with Spark. It was replaced with Spark execution model. For processing, we go for Spark. For storage, we go for HDFS. So Hadoop providing two services, storage and processing. For storage, HDFS, and for processing, MapReduce. Okay. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Why databases like Oracle, they are not used as a backend for storing Hadoop data? Why databases like databases like Oracle, they are not used as a backend for storing Hadoop's data? Drawbacks. Observe this. Drawbacks of databases. Drawbacks of databases. As compared to Hadoop only, I'm saying like limited storage. Limited storage, I can say, means up to GBs or TBs of data they can store, but higher than that they cannot support. Second is first is limited storage. Second is most of the databases, no parallel processing, no parallel processing. Third, volume increases. If volume increases, speed decreases. As volume increases, speed decreases. Example for this volume increasing, speed decreasing means, for example, observe this query, sir. Select sum of amount from sales 1. Select sum of amount from sales 2. Select sum of amount from sales 3. Sales 1, sales 2 and sales 3. Sum of amount from sales 1, sum of amount from sales 2, sum of amount from sales 3. Think that sales 1 has got 1,000 records. Sales 2 has got 1 lakh records. Sales 3 has got 1 crore records. Now try to answer which query is going to execute faster among these three. Answer. Sum of amount from sales 1, sum of amount from sales 2, sales 3. First one is going to execute faster. Means total amount of 1,000 records. Total amount of 1 lakh. Total amount of 1 crore. First query is going to execute. Means query to query, if the volume increasing, speed decreasing or not. So query to query, if volume increasing, speed decreasing or not. Okay, this one. Complexity increases. If complexity increases, speed decreases. For example, select sum of amount from sales 1, just 1,000 records, you think. Select average amount from sales 1 only. Average amount from sales 1, 10,000 records. Sales 1 only, no? Think that 1 lakh records, otherwise all this they have got 1 lakh records. Select a standard deviation. Select standard deviation of amount from sales 1. Now which query is going to execute faster among these three? Sum of amount, average amount, standard deviation amount from the same table. Obviously the first query, because average amount is a two-step process, sum to be calculated, next average to be calculated, as compared to the first query. Second query takes more time. The third query, standard deviation, means lot of internal processing required. Lot of internal processing is required. So as compared to this first and second queries, third query is going to take more time. Sorry, third query Next, second query. So first query. So as the complexity increasing, speed decreasing, and the major drawback of databases. The major drawback of databases. Now you observe. See the fifth one. Databases can handle. They can handle only structured data. Can handle only structured data. They can handle only structured data. Okay, they cannot handle semi-structured or unstructured kind of data. So here, for example, if you want to take reviews for a particular movie, observe, if you want to take reviews for a particular movie, for example, user and review, user and review. For example, user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. In this way, 100 users. They are giving a feedback for a particular movie. User 1 saying one movie is good. If the movie is bad, saying 0. If movie is good, saying 1. Movie is bad, saying 0. In this way, they are saying like ones and zeros. They are giving feedback in the form of ones and zeros. Now using SQL, meaning using SQL, can you count the number of ones and zeros? Count aggregation? Yes or no? Using SQL, can you see that number of ones and number? Can you count the number of ones and zeros here? Yes. Can say how to count review wise. I want count. Select single grouping, single aggregation. Review wise we want count star. Review wise count star from reviews table. Group by review means output of this. Review wise means how many ones, what is the count? 90. How many zeros? People saying it's means 90 people saying movie is good, 10 people saying the movie is bad. Means generally reviews can't be given in the form of zeros and ones. Users, they are going to give the feedback in their own text format. So first person saying movie is good, second person saying like movie is not good, and third person saying in this own text formats. So here movie is good, movie is not good, in this manner. So here can you count the number of goods and not goods? Now can you count the number of goods and not good? How many people saying it is good? How many people saying it's not good? Fine. So here we cannot count the number using SQL. Now we cannot count the number of goods and not goods. Even if you go for keyword count, even not good also having good within it. So it gives wrong computation. So these are the drawbacks you can see, like which can handle only structured data. They cannot store huge data. Complexity increases, speed decreases, volume increases, speed decreases, limited storage, no parallel processing. Fine. Next, Hadoop advantages. Hadoop advantages. To understand this Hadoop advantages, first you need to understand. Just for a minute, I'll just discuss its architecture. I'm just going to discuss its architecture. So that from that you can enumerate the advantages. You can just extract the advantages. Hadoop follows Hadoop follows master slave architecture. Hadoop won't follow client server architecture. Request as Hadoop follows master slave architecture. Hadoop follows master and slave architecture. It's not like client server. Single master, multiple slaves. It is going to follow single master and multiple slaves. S1, S2, so on up to Sn. Hadoop follows master slave, but Hadoop doesn't follow client server architecture. Okay, these are master and slaves. This we call it as a slave nodes or see a group of CPUs. See, this we call it as a cluster. Cluster means what? This we call it as cluster. Group of CPUs connected in a network. Group of CPUs means nodes. Group of nodes connected in a network. Connected in a network. We call it as cluster. Here we got master and slave nodes. Slave nodes means what? Data nodes. What are this? Means data nodes. Group of CPUs nodes connected in a network. There are two types of nodes, master node and slave nodes, data nodes we say. Why we call it as data nodes means in Hadoop, data is stored within the slaves, data is processed within the slaves. If I think that slave 1 TB hard disk capacity, 1 TB hard disk capacity, 1 TB. Each slave hard disk capacity is 1 TB. I've got a file f1.txt. Size of this file is 4 TBs. Can this 4 TB fit into any of the slave machine? No. This file cannot fit into any of this. But how Hadoop is going to accommodate these files? Means in Hadoop, this data or these files, they are splitted into smaller parts. We call smaller chunks. We call them as blocks. Each one stored in one slave. Each one stored in one slave. Means distributed storage. Hadoop distributed file system. Hadoop distributed file system, we say distributed storage. So each part is to each block is code going to be stored in one slave. One slave means data is means like 10 lakh records in this, 10 lakh records in this, 10 lakh records. The data is split. Means data is distributed storage, and data is processed by multiple slaves parallelly. If data processed by a single slave and data processed by multiple slaves, huge difference in the speed. So each slave processing 10 lakh records parallelly, very less time it's going to take. So if data is stored by the slaves, data processed by the slaves, what master node is going to perform there? Master node, or we call it as name node. We call this as master node or name node. Master node responsible. Task assignment. Load balancing. So master node going to assign tasks to the slaves. Master node is going to assign tasks to the slaves. It is going to assign tasks. And load balancing, whatever task allocated. Load balancing. So this master node should allocate equal tasks to each and every slave, not burdening a particular slave. And third one is like fault tolerance. Fault tolerance. See, T1 task assigned to S1, T2 task to S2, T3 task to S3. Three tasks are executed parallelly by the three slaves. When three tasks are executed parallelly by three slaves, but as they are slaves, as they are machines, Suddenly, if any slave goes down, then the task of that slave need to be assigned to any of the other slaves. This task is done by master node. This process we call it as fault tolerance. When multiple tasks executed by multiple slaves, if suddenly if any slave goes down, then the task of it is given to any of the other slaves. This process we call it as fault tolerance mechanism. Slave node responsibilities. Slave node responsibilities. Storing data and processing data. What is that? Storing data and processing data. Okay, fine. This what based on this, now we'll come back to this Hadoop advantages. First one, unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. Unlimited data storage. Second, high speed processing. High speed processing because of parallel processing. Unlimited data storage because Hadoop has got a feature, horizontally unlimited scalability. Horizontally unlimited scalability. Means horizontally unlimited number of slaves can be added. Horizontally unlimited number of slaves can be added. Means, for example, Hadoop follows master slave architecture. I said single master and multiple slaves. Means horizontally unlimited number of slaves can be added. There is no limit on the number of slaves that Hadoop can have. Today, if you are running a business, a small business with n slaves, 10 slaves, your business has increased, your branches has increased, means your customers are increased, your branches increased, means data got increased, means even your slaves also need to be increased. Means horizontally you can increase your number of slaves. Horizontally unlimited number of slaves can be added. Very high speed processing. Very high speed processing because of parallel processing. High speed processing because of parallel processing. Okay. So just I'll give an example of parallel and non-parallel. Parallel and non-parallel. This is a non-parallel and parallel. See that example of non-parallel and parallel. I will give a labor example. One person preparing one item taking 1 minute. The same one person preparing 10 items. How many minutes? 10 minutes. The same one person preparing 100 items takes 100 minutes. Means, but in the case of parallel, one item 1 minute, 10 items also 1 minute, 100 items also 1 minute. Means 10 persons preparing 10 items taking 1 minute, 100 persons preparing 100 items taking 1 minute. So this is what parallel processing. Because of parallel processing, Hadoop has got a great speed. And the other advantages. Next is like can handle all varieties of data. Can handle all varieties of data. Can handle all varieties of data. In structured, semi-structured, unstructured. And Hadoop is an open source. Hadoop is an open source. No licensing required. So cost cutting. So mainly Hadoop unlimited data storage, high speed processing. Fine. I'll just give an example, high speed processing. So many POCs were done So if any new technology comes into the market, lot of tests will be conducted on that. And for Hadoop also, like if you see, Yahoo has conducted a test. Just I'll take 5 more minutes. Yahoo has conducted a test to check the speed of various databases in the market. It has taken a table of size. It has taken a table of size 100 TB, consisting of 1024 columns. Now, the task is sorting. The task is what? Sorting based on 100 columns. Sorry, based on 16 columns. Task is sorting based on 16 columns. What is the time taken by the various databases? Oracle has taken 3.5 days to process this. MySQL, it has taken nearly 6 days to process it. Teradata, a specialized databases which is used for data warehouse purpose, it has just taken 4.5 hours. Netija, it has just taken 3 hours. It has just taken 3 hours. Finally, Hadoop, it has just taken 3.4 minutes to process it. So where is this days and hours? 3.5 days, 3 hours. Hadoop has just taken in minutes. The latest version of Hadoop has taken just 1.2 minutes. So this is what the speed of Hadoop as compared to other data. So Hadoop is proven in the market, processing point of view, even storage point of view. Storage point of view, I'll just give you some examples in the tomorrow session. And tomorrow session, I'm just going to brief you about storage, why databases like Oracle cannot support unlimited data storage, and storage point of view, how Hadoop is proven in the market, what are the various components we are going to discuss as part of this course, and how exactly data stored and processed within this. So this is what Hadoop is proven in the market, processing very high speed. So like today, if you see, most of the projects are getting migrated to Hadoop environment. Wherever you see like the huge data, and today everything huge data is getting generated everywhere. So this Hadoop, there is a great demand for Hadoop in the market, and especially projects like ETL kinds of projects, data warehouse kinds of projects, mostly they are migrating to Hadoop environment. Fine. So 1 second, let me show you this Hadoop trends and job market. See, if you see this size of Hadoop big data market worldwide from 2017 to 22. 2017, 17.1 billion US dollars. 2018 it reached 24. 2019 34. 2020 almost 50. 2021 it's going to reach 70, and 2022 it is going to reach 100 US billion US dollars. And even if you observe this Hadoop global Hadoop market from 2012, there is a huge increase in this market. And if you see this salaries and compared to other technologies and Hadoop has got see one Hadoop salary will be 1.5 times more than the other technologies. Hadoop packages, you can just check it in the job descriptions. Hadoop packages will be more as compared to other technologies, 1.5 times more. See this Hadoop salaries as compared to other technologies, there is a huge. Even this Hadoop salaries, if you see, highest paying analytical skills. MapReduce has got highest payment, but now it has got outdated. Pig has got Apache Highways component of Hadoop. Later comes machine learning, Hadoop. Next comes this data science, NoSQL, MongoDB like. So Hadoop has got. So in the tomorrow also you can just attend the session for more information. So we have got less time today, so we are running out of time. So just I showed you what is Hadoop, what is big data, what is Hadoop, how the data is getting generated, uh, how drawbacks of databases, why Hadoop, what are the services of Hadoop, and Hadoop architecture and Hadoop advantages. Okay. Hadoop components, what we are going to discuss as part of this course. and Hadoop storage point of view, other things we are going to discuss in tomorrow. Same time we can meet at 10:30 for more on this data. So if as of now, if you got any queries or anything related to this, you can just ask me. So hope everyone have understood what we have discussed today. What is big data, why Hadoop, advantages, everything. So tomorrow also just we are going to discuss more on this. Fine.
So tomorrow also we will be having demo classes, Vijay sir.
No, it's not like a duplication or replication. Continuation to this. Continuation to this. What we have discussed of today. Okay.
Okay.
Continuation to this. It's not like a duplication or a replication like that. We are going to discuss some more. I need to discuss more on this. So I didn't find enough time. So I was thinking like I was not fast today. Hello. Everyone, have you understood this? What we have discussed today? Fine. Even tomorrow also we will just discuss more on this big data. That is Hadoop. So Hadoop has got great demand in today's market. I was saying like, especially even like Spark has got very high speed processing. Okay, fine. So tomorrow I'll just demonstrate what are the things I'm going to cover, what are the components going to be covered, and other things. Okay, already we are running out of time. So tomorrow just I'll discuss. Okay, tomorrow you can join with the same link and same time. Okay, so if there are no other queries and if I'm done with your queries, I'll just sign off for today. Meet you tomorrow. Fine. Thank you.
Thank you.